Hello and welcome along to another CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity. Today we've got something a little bit different for you. We're going to show you the roof space at Green Diamond Building, Bartholomew Square in Brighton, BN1 1JS. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders. This is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. So let me then introduce you to the borrowers on this project, Jonathan and Deborah Chadwick, or Josh and Debbie as we like to call them. Josh is joining me here on this webinar. Welcome along, Josh. Tell us a little bit more about you and your background, and of course about Debbie.
Debbie and I, we're married. We've been together a long time now. We started care homes in 1990s, at the beginning of the recession back in the early 90s, and we grew and we had several care homes. We worked all the hours under the sun, but we wanted to increase our family. So it was decided that we'd either have to get much bigger to bring in more management or to downsize and have more of a family life, and we chose that route. That then gave me some more time. Our ethos in the care homes was to buy old, dilapidated care homes that were going into receivership. Debbie would go in and turn around the management, and I would go in and do restoration and extensions. And that's how we made our business. So in 2003, I found I had more time on my hands. So it was a sort of a natural progression to go into building from extensions into sort of standalone properties. So that's how we got into it.
And the main contractor on this project is also a company that you own, isn't it?
Yes, we own two contracting companies. We set up HGN Homes a couple of years ago, but haven't used it, and we've decided to use it solely for this project.
So let's talk a little bit more then about this project. It's a development loan facility of £550,000 towards the construction of a new residential penthouse on top of the existing building. This is phase one of a two-phase raise, and the loan's for a term of 12 months, paying lenders 7.6% per annum interest. This interest is going to be retained on the first phase, and lenders will receive that interest paid monthly. So let's look then a little bit more about the area where you're going to be doing your penthouse then, Josh. Tell us a little bit more about Brighton.
Well, Brighton is situated on the south coast, as I'm sure most people know. It's a thriving city. There's really a lot of development going on now. Parts of Brighton were a little bit dilapidated, but there seems to be loads of money being pushed into Brighton at the moment. It's really up and coming. But it's got a fantastic cultural centre, and it's famous for the lanes. There's two parts of the lanes. There's the North Lanes and what everyone calls the hippie lanes. And it's just a really fantastic city. I love it.
Now, the project is an airspace rights development to create a new fifth floor penthouse, and the views of the sea and the town, as we'll see in just a few moments, are perfect. Now, planning permission has been granted by Brighton and Hove District Council. Their planning reference is BH 2016/02429. That granted on appeal in March 2017 and has varied by subsequent permissions. Permission granted to build the additional story to create one residential apartment. The development is about 172 square metres, and the borrower has purchased the air rights using their own funds and made a material start on site to secure that planning. The loan we're talking about here is to fund the conversion works. So Brighton on the south coast, you can see the map on the left-hand side pointing to where it is in Brighton. On the right-hand side, the CrowdProperty flag pointing to the actual office block that since has been turned into apartments. A little bit more then about the location. Located in the town centre, easy access to the beach, lots of attractions nearby, and of course shopping facilities as well. Lots of the neighbouring buildings have a range of uses. There's residential there, there's commercial, there's leisure, hotels, and the local town hall as well. Various state and independent schools very close to this property, and the train station has direct trains into London. That's just over half a mile away to the railway station, and the A23 provides access to the M23, and that's less than half a mile to the west. Lots of local interest. We heard earlier Josh telling us that Brighton's been called the UK's hippest city and the happiest place to live in the UK. So here is the property then. Just tell us a little bit more, Josh. Let's start off with the office block, top left as that photo. It used to be an office. What is it now?
The view you can see now has been converted into 40 apartments. It's on long-term lease with one company, and let's sublet. Lots of professional people that work in Brighton live in it, but there are also some short-term holiday lets in there. So it's a nice mixture of people. The reception area as you go through is very sophisticated, I think, very nice looking. The picture itself doesn't do it justice, I don't think. It is situated, the picture on the right, you can see the beach, but that literally is 50 metres away. To the left of that picture, the lane starts with all the sort of really quirky shops and the antique shops that everyone loves to visit.
Now, the interesting thing is that you bought the air rights to this building. So the two bottom photos is really what you bought, isn't it?
Yes, we've bought that and we've inherited a few seagulls, but they are dispersing now that we've actually started to work. That is where we're building and we're cracking on.
So let's look at those floor plans then. Just talk us through what we can see here.
Plan on the left is there. These are part of the planning drawings, and that just shows the only part of that we're interested in is the staircase, because the entrance to the penthouse is on the floor below. So the staircase you can see is a private staircase, and it has a roof light. It's going to be beautiful when we've finished it. So the plan on the right is the important one. Obviously, you come up the stairs, you would then enter the foyer, but then you can turn into your kitchen, dining room and bar area. The bar area has a roof light. You then go into the lounge. There are windows to the south all along that which open out overlooking the beach. There are windows to the east. So you've got fantastic views of the whole of Brighton. And obviously then you've got your two bedrooms, your master bedroom at the end with its own dressing room, an ensuite, and then you've got the second bedroom with its ensuite as well.
So the fact that you've scheduled it to have a bar, it must mean this is a lifestyle property, doesn't it?
Definitely. I mean, it is so centrally situated, it just lends itself to an entertainment. We had to go in to Brighton to change the planning because it wasn't as high spec as we wanted it. We put in more windows than was shown, and we're putting high-tech stuff in there. All the windows will have blinds and curtains, all electric. There's a roof light above the shower in the master bathroom. We've got a whole lighting design that's obviously all done on your iPad or phone, but it'll all be pre-programmed. It's not complicated, We're also putting in a fire which is run by butane, so it won't necessarily need to throw out heat, but it's giving an ambience to the whole property. Everything is underfloor heating. We're putting in air conditioning as well.
So it's all going to be a very high-tech, high-spec type apartment.
Yes, yeah, that was the whole reason of going back to planning, because the person that put in the planning permission didn't really understand. The architect is fantastic, and he did this great design, and then the owner said, well, that might cost a little bit too much, let's bring it down. And that's totally the wrong thing to do with this property. It needs to be big and bold.
Now that, of course, is looking at the aerial view, looking at the floor plans there. Let's look at the elevations. And we've got here the north and west elevations. We'll go on to the south and east in just a few moments. But just talk us through the highlights of this.
So you're looking at the west elevations. They will be opaque glass. Most of that is the corridor. So the north elevation is covered with high pressure waterproof cladding. There's nothing to see really on the north. So we've put all the windows on the south, giving us fantastic views of the channel and beautiful sunsets in the evening. The east elevation are again lots of windows, allowing the early morning light in, and great views of the Brighton skyline.
Now, you said that somebody else had got the planning permission originally. You took that from them. How did you find this project?
Just through an intermediary that I've dealt with before. He knows that I like unusual projects, and this has certainly been unusual. It didn't hit the market. He just said, look, I know this company that own the building. They've got planning permission. They want to sell. Do you want to buy? And I sort of grabbed it.
And who do you think is going to grab it by actually taking it from you once you've built it?
I've already had a couple of interested people. No one knows it's for sale yet. Just my architect said the other day, oh, I've got a millionaire who would be very interested in this.
So there's no shortage of people that will want to take it from you by the sounds of it.
It's such an ideal, unique property. There are very few penthouses in Brighton, and very few areas where you could build one. And there's nowhere, I think, that is more centrally placed.
So that's this project. You've got some other case studies here that I'd like to talk through with you, if that's okay. This is in Saltdean. What did you do here?
This was a little project we did in Saltdean. This is 4 flats, an interesting one because it was on a hill, and there was quite a lot of retaining work to do on it, but we got it for a good price and we made a profit, and it was a nice project.
The slide says it's 6 apartments. Was it only 4?
It was 4, yeah.
And you started this January 2019. Took you, what, about 9 months or so to build it, but also quite a healthy profit from it.
Yes, it was.
Let's look at the second case study then to talk through. This is in Worthing. What did you do with these townhouses?
I bought the land from a social club that was in financial trouble and got permission to build these 3 townhouses on 3 floors. Very modern, balconies, as you can see on the top floor, again, lots of glass, and they fitted in really well, and they sold very, very quickly.
And you did this back in 2016, GDV of 975 and a net profit of around about 200k. So you came out of that one okay as well.
Yes, yeah. Touch wood, we've never done a project where we haven't made money.
Let's then return back to this project, which is the roof space. Let's look at the project's financials and this proposed loan. So this is the first phase of a 2-phase raise facility of £550,000. This raise is for £275,000 with interest retained and paid monthly to investors. Interest on the second phase raise will be rolled up and then paid at the exit. RICS have verified the current market value to be £250,000. The initial gross day 1 drawdown is going to be £150,000. Therefore, the loan to value is 60%. The loan to gross development value, when you exclude the interest, is 55%. And when you include the rolled up interest, it's 57.4%. The loan term is a maximum of 12 months. Loan targeted to start on the 7th of August 2020, but only after the legal process has been completed. Remember, the exit strategy is to sell the property on the open market. And on this first phase, lenders are going to be receiving 7.6% per annum interest that is paid monthly. And the property is going to be secured with the first charge security against the property. So thanks, Josh, for explaining everything so well on this project. The next steps then are to make sure that you understand this loan, carry out your own due diligence, both on this project and on the development team, and then decide how much you would like to lend. CrowdProperty.com is the place to be to pledge on launch. the necessary anti-money laundering checks will be carried out, and then you can send your funds into your own online e-wallet and you'll start earning that interest on completion of the loan agreement. So this is the first phase of 2. We're looking to raise £275,000, and this is to build on the roof space of Green Diamond Building, Bartholomew Square in Brighton, BN1 1JS. Thank you for watching this webinar. We look forward to you joining us again soon, back here at CrowdProperty.com.